This video will walk you through the process from moving from your planning tool to your first body paragraph. This is a partially completed planning tool for the pennies argument. This is the side to argue that we should keep pennies. And you may be arguing that we should not keep pennies. If you are arguing we should keep pennies, then you need to pick a different reason or different evidence than the one that's in this video. So I'm going to be arguing that we should keep the penny because if we get rid of it, we might cause inflation, which could harm consumers. That's listed as the topic sentence in supporting claim or reason number 2. Getting rid of the penny might cause inflation, which could harm consumers. I'm going to choose to use the first piece of evidence to support this. If businesses rounded cash transactions to the nearest nickel, they would likely round up, not down. That's from Junior Scholastic. And I see a typo in here. It should say 2. You should also have handy your notebook anchor chart, which shows you the steps to go through to make a good body paragraph. You'll see the first step is to write your topic sentence down. Your topic sentence was just that supporting reason that's already on your organizer. Then you're going to introduce your evidence, and then you're going to write your evidence. Let's go back to our organizer. I'm going to go to my organizer, and I'm just going to copy the claim and the evidence here. And I'm going to go to another document and paste it in. Or if you're handwriting, you're just going to copy them down with a little space between them. I've put my topic sentence here in yellow, copied it straight from my organizer. And I've also copied my evidence exactly. I've left a little space in between in order to do the introduction of the evidence. There's 2 parts of the introduction. The easy part is saying where the evidence came from. So I'm going to say that it came from Junior Scholastic. I'm going to say the article states. But I want to say more about what article. What are we talking about? So I'm going to include the specific information about what article, maybe an author if there's a specific author. And I'm going to say the article keep making sense in Junior Scholastic states. And there's a comma here after states because there's always a comma for a dialogue tag situation. All right, so now I've got part of my introduction here. I've got the part that names the article. The other part of the introduction is setting the reader up to understand the quotation better or the evidence better. Our evidence is about businesses rounding cash transactions to the nearest nickel, and that they would likely round up and not down. I think my reader probably needs a little explanation or a little understanding about why we're talking about rounding to the nearest nickel. So I'm going to try and provide that too. The reason has to do with if we eliminate pennies, the lowest coin will be the nickel. And that means we won't be able to pay for things where the price has something other than a 5 in the ones digit place. For example, if we had a 98-cent item, we could either pay 95 cents or $1, but we wouldn't have the pennies to make the 3 cents between 95 and $1. So we won't be able to pay 98 cents for something. We'll have to round the price to 95 cents or $1. Now we know why we're talking about rounding, and then our evidence is that businesses are likely to round up, not down. And of course I've left some space here so I have room to get the different parts, but they would all go together. At this point you should stop and you should write the first 3 parts of your paragraph, copy your topic sentence, copy your evidence and put a couple sentences in between to introduce the evidence to your reader. Let's go back to our notebook chart and look at the next steps. The next step is the explanation, and this is the biggest chunk of your paragraph. By the end of your explanation, we need to understand how this piece of evidence supports your topic sentence, how and why, and also how this whole paragraph supports your overall claim about eliminating pennies. There's 3 steps. The first step is to rewrite the evidence sentence in your own words, and then to explain how or why the evidence supports your topic sentence. You want to really point to the words and the details and the evidence to do this. And the last part is to refocus the reader back to your claim. So let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to do the explanation, the longest section. The rewrite portion, where I explain in my own words what the evidence means, is the first one. If businesses rounded each transaction to the nearest nickel, they would likely round up, not down. Okay, this means that it means that prices would go up. So instead of saying this means that, I'm going to say rounding. I'm going to say, I'm going to get rid of that line. Rounding up means that everything will cost more. Okay, you should stop right now and write on your paragraph, rewrite in your own words what the evidence says. Then resume. Okay, now that you're ready to go again, we now need to do the reasoning part. Why is it that making everything cost more is a problem? Well, I'm going to say, some people might say it's not that much, but so I'm going to say it's true that each item will cost at most 4 cents more. And that's not a lot, but it will add up over time. Just think, every single time you pay something, it's more expensive. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say eliminating the penny will mean that the price of everything will increase. So up here I said that rounding up means that everything will cost more. That was my rewrite. But here I'm relating that to eliminating the penny. Eliminating the penny will have the consequence that the price of everything will increase. So I want you to stop and write a couple sentences of reasoning in your own paragraph. Now that we're ready to resume, we're going to refocus. I've been explaining why rounding up will make prices increase. But looking back up at my topic sentence, I was talking about inflation and harming consumers, and I haven't mentioned anything about inflation or harming consumers. So I need to refocus on that now. How does raising prices or increasing prices relate to inflation and harming consumers? I'm going to say, basically inflation is rising prices. So I'm going to say that's what inflation is, rising prices or price increases. Now I need to say how inflation hurts people. And the answer is that I think that inflation hurts people if they are still making the same money, the same wages, but they have to pay more for everything. Okay, so I'm going to look and say, did I really refocus? I talked about inflation And up here in my topic sentence, I'm talking about harming consumers. And down here, I talked about hurting people. And I'm going to change that word people to consumers so that I'm really connecting my reasoning back to my topic sentence. All right, so go ahead and finish refocusing and then come back to the video. All right, now that I finished the explanation, I'm looking back to my anchor chart and I see that the clincher is the last sentence. The clincher is where I restate my claim in a different way and connect it back to the controlling idea. I'm really looking at how my paragraph as a whole supports my central argument. And to do that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my organizer again, and I'm going to see that my central argument, when I talked about keeping the penny, I said that getting rid of it would harm the economy. And so even though I've been talking about inflation and harming consumers, I'm kind of making a bigger claim here about harming the economy. And so when I go back to my clincher, I'm going to be looking more specifically at relating this paragraph to harming the economy. All right, there's the whole paragraph now. We've added the clincher. Eliminating pennies and making nickels the lowest denomination will damage our economy by causing inflation and hurting consumers. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to echo what I said up here, which I said getting rid of the penny. I've changed that to eliminating pennies and making nickels the lowest denomination. And I've also said will damage our economy because that goes back to my overall claim by causing inflation and hurting consumers, which is the specific topic of this paragraph. So I've got all the parts. If you're drafting, you can break them out on different lines like this. When you go to type it, you're gonna move them all together and you'll have a completed paragraph. You should complete yours now. Good luck.